you can't heckle me whilst I'm live via Holly's spellings without repercussions. Just FYI. Alright, no, that's true. Maybe I should put that as a big notice board and stick it to my forehead. No heckling today. If you're gonna heckle, you have to come here and sit behind me. Heckle me properly. No subpar heckling today. Hostile work environment. Just check that the cat's working. The cat is working! Jolly good. Don't know if my mic is working though. Right, let's actually get on with some stuff. So, planets. I'm still on 2 minds whether they should go in front of or behind the magic. So, today's mission, should I choose to accept it, is to finish this side of the throne. Maybe do a bit of something down here. Right, so let's find. Let's zoom on in. Get this lot going over here. Ooh, it's a bit thick. Okay, much better. Much nicer. Right, how have I done this over here? Okay. So that's been moved. Okay, that's much better. And I'm going to have to go around and tidy all of this up at some point. There we go. Put that on there. So I've just got to keep reminding myself, where's the big sunshine? And the big sunshine is up there. Which means this needs to come around a little bit more. Because the big sunshine will dictate where the highlights go. Don't think I necessarily got it completely right over here either. In fact, I think I've taken the absolute maximum highlight instead of the mid-tone. No! No, bad Sarah. Okay, that's better. Okay. So I think it's all going to be okay. Only a little. A boobette, one might say. Wee little boo-boo. Well, this is a new music channel that I've not listened to before, so let's see what delights we get out of it. There we go. That's better. Just need to, in fact, I'm going to just put that there so I remember where the sunshine is coming from. Lots easier. That's the nice thing about digital. It is all the layers you can have. Just remind yourself how to do it properly. As I was saying on my last stream, the only thing that my technology is lacking is a silly Sarah button that would then magically put all of my artwork onto the correct layer and label my layers, because I'm terrible at labeling my layers. Just kind of hope I remember, or assume that I'm only going to do something on maybe 1 or 2 layers, but it always ends up being, you know, at least 30 layers. I can't help myself. Like a layer binge. Much better. Ooh, that was not a steady hand. return. I apologise. I will be dealing with that later. With the aid of something sharp. Like my wit, Tom. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. I'm sorry, Tom, I can't hear you because my ears are shut. No, Tom, they're only shut when you speak. My husband needs to be called a wambulance. I don't know why that's funny, but it is. So what I'm not sure about is whether to make it thin like this, or whether to make it a bit thicker, burnish it so it looks metal like her armour. Let's get the blender out and see what that looks like, because it would be cool if it could look all metally like this. So my only slight concern. So let's just see what that's like. Yep, I'm not sure that that works when it's not all on the same layer. Oh, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to copy and paste. I'm going to turn off the, scroll too far, turn off the originals. There we go. I'm going to work on my experiment layers by merging them into one. Yeah, I still want to leave that back before I start to do that. And let's see. We start with this one, which is a bit more finished. Let's just try blending it. See how that one looks. So normally I wouldn't worry too much about this, but because this is the cover art, I want it to be extra beautiful. So I need a footwork. Oops. Very excited. Let's bring that down.
Oh, I was in a state, it felt like I was stuck. Felt like I was stuck in a fog. I couldn't see the sun, but it wouldn't light me up, wouldn't shine upon me at all. I sat there quiet, watching as they do, all the clouds they're moving aside. Then something called me, told me I'd be fine, all is well and I'll be alright. Then they set me on fire, when they shot me out the gate slow, and I'm running on by,
100% sure. Zoom out and see what that looks like. I think I need to establish where
It's slow and it's quiet, and I can't help but wonder where you've been. My mind is racing again with thoughts of you. Feel so alone when your heart has flown, not flying. I've been thrown. Oh, I know it's alright. I see it in your eyes from a picture of you that's faded through.
good.
And I just need
And a little wiggle.
you're
Wiggly.
coming home. Everyone says I should be home with or without you near. I can't stop this
Worth trying the craft drawers in the IKEA thing. So the one that's like there, yeah. And there might be some in one of. Yeah, I think there might be one in either one of the two left-hand ones. Might have some at the top of it. I don't think I've got any in my crafting supplies. Try the drawer underneath, failing that drawer. But if not, then no. I'm afraid. Ooh, sucky face has decided to come out. Aww, sucky face. Well, seeing as I've got you here, would you mind coming and giving your opinion on whether I need to burnish the throne or whether I need to just... I do want your opinion, not your heckles, just your opinion.
Not my what?
Heckles, just your opinion. It's basic. I think the very least I deserve is your opinion.
Was that
Come here.
the only thing wrong?
What, your opinion? I might want a cup of tea later. Do you think I should leave the throne like this sort of scribbly dibbly-doo? Or do you think I should... Or should I burnish it kind of like I have with her armour? Which I've started to do here.
What? Wasn't listening.
Right, okay, so this is... I've made this look more burnished.
Oh, cool.
Do I do the same with the throne so it
Yes.
looks like it's metal, or do
Yeah.
I leave it more scribbly?
No.
Okay.
Why don't you do... is the other side up to the same...
Nope.
Why don't you get the other side up?
Well, I think I need
first?
to develop my technique before I then... Because I think the way I colour this is probably not the best way. And I'll learn from doing it over Nyar as to what I need to do over Nyar. And then
Can you stick on a different layer?
all around it. Yes, this is a so I've got the like original down here, so if it all goes horribly wrong, I'm gonna call this throne detail experiment. Yep, that'll do. Oh, I'm gonna sneeze. Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh, that's better. Oh, sneezy bubbles. That's better. Tuck it into the sleeve. See, it's funny. Normally when I work with acrylic paints, I get very sneezy, but apparently today, even digitally, digital paint's making me sneeze too. Okay, well, the good news is that this is going to look very pretty. The bad news is the throne is now going to take me much longer than anticipated to actually finish, but that's okay. So, hubby is right. A rare occurrence, but it does occur. So I can be a lot more painterly about it, which is nice as well. That's not the colour I'm after. Sundays, the days, husband heckling, and painterly effects. So Fox producing all the tunes. Yeah, I might have to delete these as well. Oh dear, no, that's not the brush I meant to use. So it's a little bit smaller. Okay. I think just until I have figured out how the rest of this is going to go. All these funny little filigree things I think look really pretty. Might just have to wait for now. It's alright though, this is the experiment layer, so this looking a little bit more. Beautiful. This is going to be learning, like what's the mix between what needs to be blended and what needs to be left looking fairly hard, so that it does look metally. This is what experimenting is for. That's pretty good, I think. Pretty metal, as in metallic, not as in rock and roll. Definitely needs to delete these fancy little flourishes for now, I think. Need to take it, make it basic. Always forget all my hotkeys when I'm doing stuff like this. Much better. Out of camera, I have my fish tank right next to me, and I've got one of the, what do you call, bristlenose catfish, and he is having a lovely time blowing me kisses from the fish tank. Do little fella. Just stay that colour. Oh, little sucky face, eating all the nutrients off the side of the tank. So cute. So cute.
Somewhere to have fun, and all that I want is to love someone who loves me, and all that I need is a break in the night, a sliver of hope, a little ray of light. That's all that I need, and I'll be alright. Oh, I will be alright. Run, river, run. Shine, you golden sun. Stars, let your light down on everyone.
Definitely need to go back over this with some
Yesterday came and
fancy
yesterday
highlights when we get a
went.
chance.
Every day's a gift, everyone that I get. Tomorrow will come and I'll do it again. And I know that I'll be alright.
Find out balance of texture and actually blending. Something I am not renowned for knowing where to draw the line, but that's okay. Even when it's like a important thing like the front cover, it's still important to play. And also, I have the magic eraser tool. Tidying stuff up. Oh, look at that, much better. That's funny, I get really lost in the detail, and then when I zoom out, you can barely see it, which is funny. But I think when I'm done, it will look beautiful, and it'll be well worth the extra effort of doing this. Just a bit of alignment right here. Bring it back into the same style as the rest of the thing, which is always good. It would be cool to get this finished today, but I think having decided to properly burnish it like this. I'm using the word burnish as if that's definitely the right term. Probably not, but it's the one I'm going to use. Yeah, by electing to do this, it is now going to be slightly more complicated to get this finished. That's okay.
Wake me up and tell me what you know. Wake me up and tell me what you know. Before you go, before you go. In the morning, pick me up and put me on the road. Pick me up and put me on the road. Before you go, before you go.
And show at the moment, I think is the polite term, in terms of bad things happening to people. And I'm not oblivious to it, but I hope that this little stream is a little bit of light relief for people that are tuning in. We can just escape from the world just for a little bit. And instead think about how to make something that's not metallic. It's just a scribble. It's metallic. Anyone that is having a hard time at the moment, I am thinking it is a strange old time we're living in. Texture back into this bit. Don't like that bit. No, silly Sarah button. Slam that silly Sarah button.
Pick me up and put me on the road. There we go. Pick me up and put me on the road.
Ooh, we haven't damaged that bit. Sneaky little devil.
In the morning.
Not sure how I feel about that
I
bit.
think this is the first slime project that we've done.
Okay. Oh yes, that looks better. Yes, like a crazy blacksmith has made it. Or like a blacksmith that knows what he's doing has made it. So what I might do, I'm still undecided, is I might make it that this has got like a line through it. Just a little bit more detail, but again, when I zoom out, is that necessarily very visible? Nope. Delete it. Is it? It's not terrible. Good to know. Not perfect, but not terrible. That's how I like to do
Mummy,
it. Yes, darling.
we actually did it.
You made slime. Oh wow.
The red
Okay.
wasn't quite in date.
The red. Oh wow, that's cold.
Oh, you shouldn't have done that.
No!
It's stretchy
Get it?
slime.
Oh, it's horrible. Get it off me. I put
Slime
hand
is
cream
slime.
on. Will that have made it?
Yeah, that would have made it stick.
Wait.
Just wait. Wait a second.
Oh, watch out, Holly.
Oh no, it's
dropping,
not.
it's dropping, it's dropping.
It's dropping.
Dropping as well.
Anarchy.
We'll go get the bowl.
Oh,
It was perfect till you touched it.
I'm sorry. I spoil everything. No, there's some in between those fingers.
Sorry, it's fine.
No, I want it off me. Get it off me.
You're just putting
No,
it
it's
in
not
me.
fine. Ew.
We're getting it between the bowl.
Ew.
It's really easy to get off.
It's like brown bogies. It's disgusting.
Stop it.
Sorry.
It's red.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's red food colouring.
That's red food colouring. What, the
Yes.
gel or the
No.
drippy stuff? It might be worth sticking some gel food colouring, and then you probably get a better, more vivid.
I think Holly's
Are you just enjoying the?
first one that's actually kind
Do you know what? If that was a mousse, I would say that looks yummy, but it's just because of the consistency. There's a little bit on my little finger.
Everything else?
No, missed a bit there. That's alright. I think as long as I'm not going to get any on my little tablet. But thank you for that. I'm very impressed. That is the most successful slime you've ever made.
I'm just wondering where to put it.
Keep it in the bowl for now.
I would keep it in the bowl. Yeah, particularly because it's drippy, and don't let the cats near it because you know Moogle. He likes to stick his face.
Yeah, just don't
He
hear
might
it.
try and eat it because you know the lack of brain cells make
Right,
everything look
spellings.
Oh no, my hand's covered in slime. Oh no.
That was traumatic. Right. This is turning out. Get that finisher back out.
They made a swimming pool of it, didn't they?
There's a little bit.
Right, where do you want this? That will.
Texture.
Where do you want this? I'll put it with the stuff down here again. I'll put it with food stuff though, because that's different and I like food. Does it?
That's better. I kind of like that there's a little bit of scribble that you can see. Actually, kind of works for me. I like that. This is good perhaps. I've got a couple of scenes in the comic which has like metal like this in it. I think the more practice I can get cleaning it up and making it look good, the better. Pardon me. Pardon me, fishy faces. That's what I call my fish that live in the little fish, was like the fishbowl thing, the aquarium. That's what I was trying to say, the aquarium. I call them all my little fishy faces. Because they are my little fishy faces. They have fishes and they have little faces. And I love them very much. Even though they're not as talkative as my cats. Are you my little fishy faces? Oh. 10 cycle.
I'm drawn to those words that you said to me before you disappeared. You say to fall in love, it is just fate. It's something society creates, that you are scared of getting close. But I know what you fear the most. Yes, I know what you fear the most. You are scared you will fall as hard as me, and he will be treating you just like he treated me. And you will see that I was right about the fact that the world turns out to be like that.
Right. Let's make it a little bit smoother. Nice. And then if we zoom out.
And now when years have passed, I'm just as scared as you were when you
I
were
need to maybe
with me.
use the funny
And
little
now
wet blotting thing that I found.
I'm
Just
just scared
give this
that for all those years you were right and I was mistaken.
a bit more.
All those years you were right and I was wrong. All those years you were right and I was wrong.
And again, just I don't know why, but when I was little, I invented a word, which probably is a real word, but if it is, I wasn't aware of it, called scumbling. Whenever I do this, I always think that if it wasn't a real word, scumbling would be a good way of describing what I'm doing right now. That's better. Yep, I think I will be using that white brush tool again, because that does just give it a slightly more metally texture. I definitely need to go around maybe with a slightly bigger brush and just add the highlights back on. Slightly yellowish. I did not learn from when I did this before. I should have done this from the start. Let's go. Just scumble that bad boy back in. I do like that wet blotty brush because it just, I don't know, it makes me think of like oily metal. Which is kind of the look I'm trying to achieve. Yeah. I don't know, I'm still in two minds about bedroom. Just think. Don't know. Is the honest answer. Maybe if I get the wet brush and get it even smaller, get some brown going on there. Don't know that. Maybe that's clean away. Let's just see if I actually do some proper line work around it. Does that. Bring it back into the piece, 'cause at the moment I think it just sticks out a little bit too much. That's not part of the original. Kind of showing that it's something that is actually part of drawing. It's, essentially been drawn on. Maybe that will just help it along a little bit. Decisions. See that. I think the line work is helping, that's for sure.
Available.
Make it a little bit thicker because it's actually maybe not that thick. It is actually in front of a lot of things. Careful, I'm a bit cat-handed. Every now and then I've got a funny little button on my pen, and every now and then I get a bit overexcited and I push the little button and all the pressure sensitivity settings seem to vanish. And as a relatively newbie digital drawer, I'm not 100% sure I know how to put that back on if it does that. I can do this with a steady hand. Not brain surgery. She says, messing up all the lines. No, the patient has died. Yeah. Ladies and gents, please don't ask me to ever perform brain surgery on you. I could not guarantee the results. Actually, I probably could guarantee the results. Not favourable. Crazy, crazy lady. How does that look? I don't know. Not quite how I expected, I don't think. Ooh, I can indeed. One moment. I wonder if it's something to do with this. Is that... Oh no, that's made me louder. Fantastic, hello! Is that a bit better? Any better now? Hello, testing, testing. 1, 2, 3. Bum, bum, bum. It's interesting that it's saying that these have no decibels, right? Bear with me 1 second. I think my mic's at the max, but I wonder if it might be a computer setting. Bear with me, caller. Right. Oh, no, I just did something strange. I've got a new setup, Mtastic, and I'm still learning how to use it. Give me one. Oh, come on, there we go. Right, mic. Microphone setup. Right, microphone. Da, 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 da. Choose a voice. No. Oh no. Setting up a microphone. That's really annoying because it was definitely working alright the other day. Woohoo! Loud and clear! Thank you, Shere Khan. Excellent name, by the way. And hi! Right, I'll turn the audio down a little bit more as well, just to help out. But yeah, for those that don't know, this is all. This is my new laptop. It's beautiful, and a completely new setup. Yeah, I'm still adjusting because I used to have basic OBS to do all my streaming, and it was very much what you see is what you get. I'm just going to turn the sound down a little bit for me. But then I found Streamlab, and then I found overlays, and I'm a bit of a sucker for shiny things like a magpie. Yeah, ended up with this. But now I have a couple of you listening in. Maybe you can help me make a big decision about this piece. So this is my cover art for the comic book that I have written and am now drawing. And I really like what I've done, but I need to make a decision about the throne. So for the last sort of, oh wow, nearly an hour, I've been working on these swirly bits. Now for her armour, what layer is that on? Oh, naughty. Naughty, naughty. Let's get rid of that. I have been trying to decide whether to try and make her the throne metal bits sort of burnished a little bit like her silver metal. Now the silver metal was fairly straightforward because it's like plate armour, so it's kind of fairly flat. Whereas the tiny little intricate sort of metal that I want to have on the throne is tiny and intricate, and therefore the burnishing effect that I sort of used on her plate metal is less obvious. So I'm not quite sure whether I'm just being too timid with the colours I'm using and the highlights and whatnot, or whether it's just not suited to what I'm trying to do. So that's kind of without the line work. That, in fact, I'm going to delete that line work. I don't like that at all. Bye bye. But I don't know if I'm just being a bit too timid and I need to go a bit more like this to make it sort of look a bit more metalworky. I don't know, I'm not used to trying to draw metal. This is kind of all new territory for me. But yeah, just not quite sure what. It's a tough one, isn't it? So, I mean, I'm doing this all on a separate layer, so worst case, I can just delete the layer. It doesn't matter if I've wasted a bit of time because everything's a learning experience. But it would be nice if I could get this to kind of... I have got a fancy sort of blotting pen. It has this sort of see-through-y kind of metally effect on it, or like it just sort of automatically does it. So if I zoom in a bit, you can sort of see, whoop, it's kind of this sort of effect, which is quite good and metally. Let's add a bit of this on, and this is kind of how I did the metal, the silver metal. But again, it was at a much bigger scale, so trying to get it to look right here is proving a bit of a challenge, and I don't know whether I need to maybe go off and try and find some better references. Just keep playing until I've got it right. I think I've put too much shadow in everything, and that's why it's looking a bit dull. Maybe I just need to bring a bit more of the gold colour back in. Maybe. And then kind of very lightly sort of scuff it up, maybe. Let's play. Yeah. It is a tough choice, and I'm always like, because I have limited, I have a full-time job, so my comic book is kind of something that I work on outside of work. Because sadly, because this is the first comic I've ever written and drawn, it obviously doesn't generate any income or anything like that yet. So this is sort of all done outside of work. So the time I get to work on it, it's a little bit limited. So I'm always like, oh, these decisions, they could impact how much time I've got to work on it. But actually, even when it's like turns out to be a completely wrong decision, I always learn something. So I guess, don't worry guys, no pressure on you. Even if, like, I think I am going to try and make it look metal, as opposed to this sort of scribbly, non-metally effect. But if it doesn't go well, I will have learnt many things from it. Let's zoom out a little bit. I think I need to find a fancy reference. Let's have a little... Come on, Google, show me your wares. Gold... What do you call it? Gold railing? Let's have a look. Let's see what the internet suggests. Okay. Oh, it's how to paint like a gold ball. I'm after... Ooh. It's funny because metal... hello! Zane is a cutie 3. Yeah, good thing, fantastic. So I am working on the front cover of a comic that I have written called Knave of Hearts. It was called Jack of Hearts, but then I discovered, and I will show you a picture if I've got it, that Marvel made a comic called Jack of Hearts back in the 80s, and it's about a chap that wears blue spandex and shoots pink death lasers from his hands, and I was like, I can't compete with that. So I've decided to call this the Knave of Hearts, and it is slightly steampunky, I think, in style, and it's basically about a rock band called Esoterica, who are impacted, let's say, by supernatural forces. And yeah, sort of... sorry, I'm trying to read the chat and speak at the same time. My brain cannot compute. But yeah, it's kind of, they get catapulted into finding out how the universe really works. And it's kind of like Constantine meets Ocean's 11. Yeah, it's it's been such fun to write, and it's going to be such fun to draw. But this is the cover page, so I want to really make it look like really exquisitely detailed and like beautiful, because people say don't judge a book by a cover, but it's really funny when you're in a bookstore. That is exactly what you judge a book by. Oh, fantastic. You want to know what setup I got? So I got a Predator Triton 300 is my laptop. And then to actually do my digital artwork, which I think I can hold it up, I have an XP Pen Artist 12. I think it's the, oh, there's dust all over it, second generation. And I'm using Clip Studio Art. Ah, thank you, Zainazuki3. Hopefully, like each week, I'm hoping that I can get, like, once I finish the cover art, but I'm trying to do it where I complete a page a week. But I started drawing the comic traditionally, and I've got the original pages here in this giant sketchbook. So it started life with, I knocked myself out with my own comic, my own sketch pad. So it started life like this. Ooh, I don't know if it's easier to zoom in, zoom out. I don't know quite how big that is for you guys. But that's sort of the first page. So I drew it all traditionally to begin with, which is fine, it's great. It does make it harder to then put it, like, you know, you have to get a good camera to take a photo of each page. And then I had like a cheap tablet that I'd use to sort of just niggle with it a little bit. It wasn't working very well, and then my mum gifted me this drawing tablet for Christmas, and it was a game changer. It meant that I can draw the whole thing digitally, and then I can digitally colour it as well. Oh, thank you guys. Which, you know, makes it look a lot more professional. Most people prefer looking at colour comics than they do to black and white ones. And, you know, I've got the luxury that I'm the artist, I'm the writer, I'm the editor, and I'm the publicist. So I can take my time, and I think it's probably going to take me another year to get the comic to where I want it, because all the pages I drew originally, need to be reworked digitally and coloured digitally, which I think is going to take me a long time. So I can show you, actually I can show you that page that I've just shown you there. So this is that page, but digital. Hopefully it pops up. Yay! So this is a real life band, Esoterica. I've had the very good fortune of meeting the vast majority of them. So they're aware of the comic and have been helping me behind the scenes with some of the storyline. Oh yes, I do have a Patreon, which is helping me fund kind of getting this comic book published. So if you like what you see, like, you know, even if I think the cheapest tier is like £1 British a month. I don't know quite how that equates to other currencies, but it really is, every little bit helps, and I've tried to make it that I'm building a little community around my comic. But I will put my hands up. I am a newbie. I'm a newbie to Twitch. I'm a newbie to Patreon, and I'm a newbie to comic book artwork. I've been drawing for many years. I used to work in video games, but actually doing the whole process of bringing a comic to life, I am a noob, so you kind of get to follow my journey. So I try and put a couple of posts out a week on Patreon to kind of keep people sort of appraised of what I'm up to. But here, obviously, on Twitch, and if you're watching me on YouTube or on Facebook, this is where you can kind of watch me live, sort of working on it. And you can help me solve my conundrums, like, oh no, what technique shall I use to do this throne, because it's really bothering me, because I want it to look really ornate. So you can't see it obviously because it's on my other screen, but I am looking up kind of ornate gold railings to sort of see how the light falls on it. And it's funny because some of them don't look real, they look really like they've just been painted yellow, and I don't really want that effect. Ooh, that one's quite good. Let's see. Again, that's the same one again, but looking super yellow. Ugh, why did I choose to make it gold? Silver is so much easier to do. Ooh, here's a little... Okay. Alright, I think I maybe have gone a little... Right, okay. we're going to try something radical. Let's get rid of all... should we get rid of all of that? No. I'm going to make it sort of semi-transparent. And we are going to try and do this in such a way. So I need... Basically, I think I need to do some line work around it so that I can like encapsulate the gold a little bit. So let's go down here to this one. And we'll create a new layer, and this is going to be called I'm going to call this layer Golden Oldies. Yeah, don't worry, I will just save it because I promise you I have got the original throne stuff. So if I just delete all of this, don't panic, I've got what I originally drew on a separate layer. It will not be touched. I am not going to touch that layer. I have called this one Golden Oldies, and I have saved this, and it gets backed up to my cloud. But thank you, fantastic. I'm not going to do anything too radical. I'm just going to have that. I might even make it a little bit more see-through. I only want to just be able to see it. Right, let's see how steady my hand is today. Slurp of Coke, that'll help. Right. Let's see how this goes. Oh, yeah, it does help if I switch the layer on. Okay. Let's do a good sweep down there. I think I'm just going to pretend that the ironworker that did this had had a few meads before he started. Yeah, that'll do. So this is just so that I can actually switch that layer off underneath, because I think it's distracting me a little bit. Okay. And I think if I can get just this little bit here right, I'm a bit more confident about going back around and doing all the other bits. I think I've caught most of it. Don't mind if the line's a little bit thicker than everyone else because it is at the forefront of the drawing. Right. Perfect. And let's get rid of the background stuff as well. Which, I am the queen of not naming my layers. So I've been trying to, every time you probably can't see it because it's behind my little kitty cat. I love that widget, like completely not in keeping with anything else, but it does the little cat dance, so it makes me happy. I have a terrible habit of not naming my layers. So like some of this is on things like layer 46. Is that it? Aha, that's it. Right. I've removed all of it. So now I've done that, I'm going to have a quick look at this tutorial again. Okay. Right. So it looks like I need to make it a little bit warmer than I had done. I probably have made these lines a bit too thick around the outside, but that's fine. We can go back and fix that later. And I think I did. I made the mistake of normally, like when you're working in comics, you might even hire someone that's called a flatter, which I always think is a really funny... Ooh, Overwatch. I've always wanted to play Overwatch. I haven't got around to doing it. But yeah, normally when you work with comics, or if you're working like, you know, with a professional publisher and stuff, you might have a flatter, which is somebody that will just come in and take, so you normally have a penciler, an inker, a flatter, and a colorist. So your penciler pretty much does what it says on the tin. They will draw the initial lines, and you know, a lot of people kind of consider them the creme de la creme of the art thing, but actually having done all of the jobs by myself, they're all equally important. So if ever you're talking to if you've ever seen the film Chasing Amy, they kind of mention this, but if you're ever talking to a comic book artist and they say that they're a colourer or a flatter or an inker, it isn't as simple as just tracing, it's not as simple as just colouring in. There is a definite knack to it, and I make the best of it, but I wouldn't say that I've necessarily mastered it. But yeah, what I sometimes make the mistake of doing is I get a bit carried away early on, and I don't do the job of the flatter, which is just to dump a flat colour on, which is very naughty of me. And it is just because I've gotten a bit overexcited about whatever it is that I'm doing, and I just want to jump straight in there and make it look like shiny or what have you. Let's call that the and yeah, I skip steps, which is very silly. Again, I need a special button on this tablet, which is the Silly Sarah button. It would be hammered, I think. Right, let's have another quick look. So the next suggestion, okay, is to probably use the same brush that I was using before, but darker. Kind of put in the darker elements. Let's just change the opacity on that a little bit. Maybe up the brush size. It's definitely a dark bit in there. And probably like that. Oh, I think I probably just got a little bit overexcited about some of these darker areas when I was doing it. Looking at this little tutorial I found. Learning on the fly! What could go wrong? Let's have a quick another look at this. Okay. I will clean this up at the end, don't panic. My stuff always looks a mess until I kind of the last minute, and then I go ta-da! If any of you are from England, or if any of you have watched British TV, there used to be a show called Blue Peter, and their thing was, here's one I made earlier, where, you know, the poor presenter was trying to do their best on camera, but was obviously like not doing that well, and then, you know, someone that obviously spends a lot of time doing these craft ones they'd have sort of one of those on standby, and they kind of whip it out and go, here's what I made earlier. And I like to think I'm a bit like that with my artwork. Right, let's actually get some proper darks going on in here. This is going a little bit better, I think. This is looking better than it was. What do you think, fishy faces? Fishy faces agree. Right. Let's get this going. So, anybody else that's kind of on? Are any of you guys working on any projects at the moment? Like drawings or things that you're writing or creating? I love to hear about other people's projects. I'm very nosy. Ooh. Zaina's a cutie 3, tell me more. Or do you stream doing it? Or have you got an Instagram or anything? That sounds very exciting. Please share. I'd love to see it or learn more about it. Oh, but do you have like an Instagram, or I'm trying to think. I think Behance is another one where people can share their artwork and stuff. But yeah, I'd love to hear more about your novella. What kind of novella have you written? If you don't mind sharing. That's okay. I live in the countryside. I feel your pain. I have a feeling that some of these have got like a special. Maybe it is that one. density colour stretch. I was sure one of these had like a dodge setting, but maybe I'm going mad. Possibly going mad. Right. Let's try and just blend these a little bit. Ah, welcome back. I am just doing a little bit of a battle with my dodge tools because I don't know. I think as I zoom out, I actually don't really want to blend this lot in too much because I think it's actually not looking too bad. It's just, it's definitely looking more metallic, isn't it? Where's the original experiment? Yeah. Definitely needs the line work around it, but actually that's not bad. I'm quite pleased with that. Let's blur it a little bit. Let's have a look. There we go. Give it a little bit of a blur. But I was sure that some of these tools in here used to have, like, you'd be able to set, maybe it was, is it that kind of blur? Brush density, nope. Fingertip? Oh, I know what it might be. It might have been airbrush actually. Blending mode. Aha! Colour dodge. Spray droplet noise. That might be the. Ooh! Ooh! Ooh, Bessie. Okay, blending mode. Let's see what this does. Giving this a bit of a spin. Ooh, it doesn't think much of that, does it? No. Okay, back to this. We will go down to here. Oh, Wattpad. A few fanfics and a few original works. Oh, that's cool. How are you? Are you thinking? Because I'm looking at publishing options. Obviously, I'm miles away from this being ready to publish, but it's good to have it in the back of your head where you're going to publish. Are you thinking like Kindle or like Kindle Direct Publishing, or I'm not quite sure what other sort of little publishing places there are. Where are you kind of looking? If this is me being very nosy, so. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff out there, isn't there? Because I've had that problem where I'm like, oh, so many options. I actually don't know which one to maybe investigate further. Ooh, oh, I like that. But yeah, I've got a similar problem. That one. Nope, not that one. That one. Oh, pardon me. Yeah, too many options, and I'm on a couple of what do you call it? I'm on a couple of comic book like Facebook groups and stuff, and it looks like a lot of people haven't got a Scoobies about which way to go. I do know that if you go down the Kindle route, you don't have to exclusively do it on Kindle. So if you then did decide to go down a different publishing route, I think as long as you've not done the thing where people can get it through Kindle Unlimited, I believe you can. You've then got like options. Is my very limited understanding, but I figured that's another day Sarah's problem. Today Sarah just needs to focus on trying to get her comic book finished, drawn. The stuff that means that people can actually read it one day. That's looking better. Oh yeah, that looks more like that's actually gold. Yeah, I'm sort of stuck in the same thing. One of the reasons I started streaming is I work from home all the time, so I was getting a little bit lonely. Now I've got a lovely husband, I've got a lovely family, a little kitty winky and stuff, but they're obviously at school and things. And although I work full time, I don't really get to talk to people like in a sort of casual setting. So me streaming was kind of, I get to do my artwork and I get to chat with nice people whilst I do it. But it also, like, the offshoot of it is a little bit more exposure for my comics. So maybe it's worth looking at stuff like that kind of fits in around what you're doing. But yeah, I find the whole publicising this really daunting. And sadly, because I've got a full-time job, I can't do the Instagram thing because apparently you have to sort of post every day to make Instagram work from a publicity point of view. And alas, I have not the spoons for that. But yeah, I'm completely with you. Zane is a cutie 3. It's really difficult. I think a lot of creative people struggle with it, if it makes you feel any better. But I really hope that you find a way to kind of get it out there. But I'm definitely going to check out Wattpad because I've not heard of Wattpad. And I love reading. I love it so much. I eat books with my brain. And it can range from what I call like brain bubblegum, so like really sort of, I hate using sort of like chick fic because I just think that's such a sad thing to kind of call it. Thank you, Zane. Yeah, it can be really discouraging, and I think a lot of these things, it's luck rather than skill that gets you noticed. So don't be too disheartened. And honestly, if you drop your Instagram, or I'm afraid I'm not on TikTok, but if you drop your Instagram, I will definitely come and check you out and follow you and stuff, because I believe artists should help support artists. So yeah, I will go back through my chat log when I finish my stream and come and find you if you'd like me to. But yeah, it is very discouraging, and I think a lot of people have particular problems with Instagram because they made some big change to their algorithm. and I think a lot of artists kind of lost out because of it. Yes, I'm liking this. Right. I'm liking that a lot. Let's tighten it up a bit. It would help if I'm picking the right layer, wouldn't it? That's better. I think that's better. I think that's not looking half bad, you know. Houston, I think, yeah, lift it off. It certainly looks bright and vaguely metallic-y. Let's just have another quick look at the little tutorial thing. This person's obviously got is there a burn? Ooh, collar burn. Yeah, apparently that's very good for let's go for that. Ooh, abort. Right, let's try linear burn. Ooh, I like that. Oh, so many toys to play with. And then let's try, what does Blackburn do? Ooh, it's not quite as exciting as linear burn, but still good fun. Ooh, something happened and yay, made the little cat dance. Thank you, Zane. You're my first new follower where I've been live when you followed me, and it's made my little cat do a little dance, and that's made me so happy. That's made my day. Thank you. This song is not very happy, is it? Let's see if I can skip it to a chirpier one. Thought I'd picked a fairly chirpy music playlist. There we go. I think that's better. Yep, I like this. I think I have found my new toy. Right. Yep, that might look a bit mad, but that's okay. We don't mind stuff looking a little bit mad. Let's zoom out and have a look at that. Well, that's certainly looking a lot more metally compared to like the swirls I've done up there. And then if I put the throne layer back on, throne structure layer. Oh yes, I like that. Ah, it was lovely to see you, Zane. Thank you very much, and I hope you have a lovely rest of the weekend. And again, definitely send me your Instagram. I would love to see what you've been working on. Right, well, I think that is a successful experiment, so let's see how I get on with the rest of the throne now. Eek! Right, so first things first is I need to do my line work. Oh no. Right. Get this looking fabulous. And I do wonder whether I'd be better off doing it a little bit thinner and a little bit darker. And I know that doing it the very slow scribbly way might not necessarily be, my art teacher would not be happy, but slow and steady wins the race, right? Sure, there's a proverb in there somewhere. Oh, it looks, I like this kind of version of gold. It looks warm and toasty. Warm and toasty gold. Warm and toasty. I think if I'm just very gently doing this, zoom out to see what that's looking like. Yeah, I think that's looking a bit better. Ah, thank you. Right. Let's go and have a look. No, I definitely want it in English. Thank you very much. Google Translate. Ah. Cosmic Art Shop. Ah, right. Oh no. My Instagram is not behaving itself today. Oh no. Right. It's funny, my family have gone horribly quiet. That either means that they're doing chores or being naughty. What do we think? Anyone want to hazard a guess? My I don't know why, but my computer seems to have decided that I'm French. And whilst je parle un petit peu de français, that is not strictly true. I do not speak very much French at all. Ah, this has been a lovely stream. I'm going to make my cat do a little dance. Oh no. Apparently that types stuff into the chat. If anyone ever sees ZX, that's not me going crazy. Those are the hotkeys for making my little cat dance. Whilst I do the dosey-do. Right, let's zoom in. I'm sure I should probably tidy this up somehow, but that is another Sarah's problems, not today's Sarah. Is that a family member? Trying to sneak in or on or... Oh, it's a kitty! Does he need a lap? I am willing to be a sacrificial lap. Oh, hey buddy! How are you? Oh, who's your good boy? And they've been hoovering and stuff, and that's scary. Come here, little sausage man. Oh, hello. This is Moogle. He is small, he's black, and he has none brain cells, do you, buddy? He's also got, because he's got a condition that makes his little paddy paws swell up. Giant paws. You're a tiny cat with giant paws, aren't you? Big swollen paws. Oh, is that nice? Is that nice? Oh, look, that's the internet. There's the internet. Yeah. And those are the fishies that you're not allowed to eat. Mm. Mm. Sorry, buddy. Do you want to get down? Do you want to get down? Or do you want to stay on my lap? Just don't step on my keyboard and send the internet strange messages. Oh, buddy. Oh. Cutie patootie. Right, back to this. That's the undergold. Tell me I have not been doing this on the undergold layer. No! Ugh. Right, let's clean this up then. I don't know, can't get the staff these days. Where's that silly Sarah button again? There we go. It's like it never happened. Nothing to see here. Right, I'm actually going to try and do this without the magic line art layer and just see how we go. Could be brilliant, could be terrible, but I am going to save this. Right. Moogle, I can see you, buddy. One of this joined up as well. So I'm not quite sure how I'm going to do these little spindly bits, but I think it needs some spindly bits to make it look a little bit more sort of sturdy, I guess. Some more Diet Coke. Diet Coke fuels the brain power. Oops. Schmoops. Let's take that over there, I think. I think some of these like slightly uneven lines can probably be a bit more forgiven if I've done this, I think anyway. Certainly I think this looks a bit more sturdy. Again, I will go around and kind of tidy this up once I'm all done. Let's get this. I think I figured out how to do gold, Tom.
Huh?
I think I figured out how to do gold. Make it look more metallic-y.
Right.
I don't know quite what my brain process was before, but I did a Google foo. Well, I used a magical burning tool. It's not quite tight, it's kind of metallic-y, doesn't it? Ah. And when you zoom right out, and then imagine all of that's going to look all metallic-y and
That'll be
stuff. I think that'll be cool.
I like the sun.
I thought
And
I'd done
it's
quite.
shade-
I thought I'd done
she
quite.
shaded as well.
I thought, and then like it meant that all the lighting actually made sense.
Missing some shadow behind her on the left.
Yeah, that needs more shadow stuff, but yeah. But I also quite like how I've done the. That looks like squashy now, or at least it does when you zoom out.
So what was it? You did fuzzy.
Yeah,
Fuzzy. Kind of
fuzzy sort of stuff rather than the little spiders I've drawn all over the back. Yeah, I think I need to make that bit a bit more shiny, but
cool.
So
You can do it all now. So
yeah.
You've given yourself even more work.
I have given myself even more work, yes. But that's okay. It'll be worth it because people will see my comic book on the shelf and go, "Oh my god, I have to own it." Except I'll have spent ages making the cover beautiful and then they'll open it and go, "Ah, what is this?"
I see your stick figures. Got people on.
I did have. I think people have sort of are dipping in and out, which is fine. I like that. So if you are watching, hello. You're joining me at a point where hubby is being well behaved. It won't last long, will it, dear?
No.
You behaving?
Washing it. No, put the washing on.
Do I want to put the washing on?
You might if I put the washing.
Oh, no, it's fine. I don't think. I mean, I'm not sure, but I don't think it can be heard from over here anyway. Ooh, this song has got naughty lyrics.
Should I just leave it off now?
No, you can switch it on. Just maybe shut that door. I really should at some point like go through and explore things. Ooh, there we go. I don't think you'll be able to see the chat in here, but just whilst I'm doing this like little funny bit, I will leave it like that for a while, and then I'll flick back to the other one if more chat occurs. Ooh. Go home, iron railing, you're drunk. moment this is almost relaxing, but I know as soon as I have to start doing the like gold effect, I am probably going to find it a lot less relaxing. Had a similar problem with her armour, which is, do you then put lines around it to tidy it up, or do you just clean up the, because this is obviously I've scribbled into this just to, I will go around and tidy this up at some point, but because I didn't do all of the, we were just having a play at that point. I didn't quite do what I should have done with this. But that's okay. Again, it's all a learning experience. Half the fun. I like the idea of this being like, because obviously the Queen of Hearts in Alice in Wonderland was all about the roses, wasn't she? So I like the idea of this sort of having thorns. Whether that's going to be almost impossible to actually relay in that sort of gold effect, I don't know. Let's find out. Like Dr. Pepper says, what's the worst that could happen? And the question is, do I cheat, do this side, and then just duplicate it and flip it for the other side? Sneaky. Which is kind of what I did for the original sort of version of this that I was drawing. But I'm now thinking that maybe not. Maybe I should have waited until I'd actually finished doing this whole side. Simply because the lighting's going to be similar. It might be easier to adjust the whole thing when it's done rather than doing more of it from scratch, particularly now I'm going to spend extra time doing these effects on it. And the same for the throne at the back, because it is like, because this is kind of symmetrical, I'm just going to take a screenshot of the back, screen grab, or I don't know what you call it, not a screenshot, because a grabby bit, I guess you'd call it. Ooh, where am I? I thought I was up there. I'm down there. Ah, madness. Madness this way lies. I forgot I'd switch the view. I might switch it back in a minute. Not sure. Looks better. That comes around. Comes around. Yes, I'm liking this. And it will serve me in good stead. So I've got another page. Let's open it up and you can see. I think I've got it on here somewhere. Yes, so this page, I've got a slightly similar thing going on with here, where you can see this was just really rough, kind of dump the colours on type thing. But I would quite like this to be properly detailed, which I think this is probably closer to what I was trying to achieve. So it will be interesting. Trying to get rid of, I see things sort of original version of this that I like little lines and stuff that I just think look pretty. I want to kind of try and keep them if I can. I don't want to sort of lose stuff just because I'm changing how I'm doing this. If we get rid of that, just like a better idea where I've got some little bits. It's better. It's better. Now what I could try and do is actually remove all the layers surrounding this. Ooh, no, steady on this, Sarah. Just to try and make it a little bit easier to see what I'm doing. I guess the risk with that is that I then do stuff that doesn't really match with everything else I've been doing. Tom? Oh, no, never mind. I thought I smelled burning, but it's cat food. That's what I thought it was, but no. That's a very stanky smell. Yeah, I think I quite like that. It definitely needed some redoing. Any other sneaky bits that just don't quite look neat and tidy? I think that's looking a lot better. Sort of smooth-ish. I think I can pretty much live with most of that. Right. Oh, no, wrong one. Is that airbrush? No, this one. That's the one. Right. So now we need to work out where all the shadows are going to go. Kind of block the bin. See how this kind of goes. There is method to my madness, I promise. Right. Ooh, I did not do that properly. Ooh, nope, 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 nope. Let's clean that up. Naughty Sarah. Missed one. That's all right there. It's better and sturdier, I think. Okay, right. Back to this one. D. Yes, this looks pretty mad at the moment. That's okay. Pretty mad is okay. There we go. I think the way to fix a lot of this is going to be the blendy tool, definitely. Also, my magic colour dodge tool. Sounds like a happy tune. I like a happy tune. I think that's a good step. Let's just remind myself. Yep. Maybe that. Sort of mixed in. Let's blend some of these bad boys together. Just mix a little bit less craza. Sort of flick between the two because I think some of these maybe needs to be a little bit darker just because the blending always makes you lose some of that richness. Much better. I reckon actually with some of these you're going to have less of this kind of shiny. Down here you go. Yeah, I think we're getting there. Here too. So the light source is coming from over there. This side of everything is going to be a little bit darker than everywhere else. Again, worrying too much about staying in the lines. Ooh, drippy nose. Got a tissue. Ah, there we go. Much better then. Let's go back to my drawing screen. Ooh, much better. With my little dancing cat. Gotta love a dancing cat. Right. Okay. Zoom back in. Even a little bit more. Get this blendy brush doing its business. So I don't want to lose too much of the texture of the funny thing I used before. So just literally, as my daughter would say, a little blur, not figurative blur. Giving it a little bit, just a little bit of help to blend it in a smidgy bit, but yeah. I think actually rough and ready may be the key with this. And I'm hoping that when I go around and tidy it all up, that's what's gonna make it or break it. But I do like it to have a bit of texture. Yeah, that's looking better. Ooh, what time is it? Oh. Nearly time for a cup of tea. I think soon, if I can blackmail hubby into making one for me. He's a good egg. I hear little scuffling noises near my desk. There's a little kitty doing something that little kitties probably shouldn't be doing, but I think my kitties have all abandoned me to go and have little snoozies in other places. This is looking a little bit better. Right, so now comes phase 2, which is this sort of orangey sheen, I think, that I'm going to pop to make it look metally. Yeah. I think I'm going to do it with my airbrush. I'm trying to remember. Let's try to add glow. Is that the one? So we're just going to add some glow. The nice thing about this is it kind of keeps it within the lines. Oh yes, I like that. This is why I love digital art things, because they just, you know, get everything that little smidgy bit easier. Just gotta remember, where's that pesky light source, which is the sun? That way. Oh, thank you. Did you hear my mutterings? My cup of tea mutterings. Bribery. Cup of tea bribery. Let's have a quick look. A little zoom out. Yeah, that's looking pretty good. Like that. Oh. Right, so that's added glow. Oh, no, I think we worked out colour burn was not what I wanted. Linear burn is what I wanted. There we go. Just a little. Maybe it was black burn. Maybe a little bit of colour burn as well. Go back and add some of that. Let's do some. Just to make it a little bit warmer. And I think if we do some black burn, and then just I think the very last thing I need to do is just go around and on the very highlighty bits, let's pop some white on. I think that will make it look really pretty. I think that's actually looking not half bad for a non-cleaned up sort of metallic-y thing. G-pen, Let's take it. Just give it a white shine. I think that's looking pretty good. See, there'll be some catch lights, I think, even where I've not like burnished it and stuff. I reckon. Again, I'm ever so slightly making this up as I go along. Let's just add glue a little bit to some of these places. Adding that little bit of like that. I think final step on all of this is to just check that that meets with where I think so. It's now to go in with the eraser tool and actually just tidy everything up. Like this. Just make sure things look neat and tidy. I think that will make it look far better. Oh yes, look at that. Much better. And just make it look. Let's just check where the layers are going on here. Yeah. And again, I'm not sure if it needs line art or not. Potentially not, but potentially not, but we will go back. Oh, hey, X Carnage. I am drawing and I'll zoom out a little bit. So this is the cover art for the comic book that I have written and am now drawing. which is like a steampunky kind of adventure into a sort of version of heaven and hell, from the perspective of a rock band who I'm a massive fan of called Esoterica. Highly recommend their music. Yeah, it's called the Knave of Hearts. It was originally called the Jack of Hearts, but then I discovered that Marvel had already done that back in the 1980s, and the Jack of Hearts was this chap in super bright blue spandex that shot pink death lasers from his hands, and I cannot compete with that, so I have decided to call it the Knave of Hearts instead. And I've never drawn metal properly before, so I'm having a go at creating this sort of like metal throne, which yeah, I think after a lot of trial and error and messing around, I think I've managed to get it looking how I want it to look. And right now, having drawn this sort of gold gilt, if you like, I'm going in and tidying it up to kind of give it that more finished look. So I sort of essentially dumped the colours on and used some dodge tools in my digital toolkit. But if I kind of go around and do this, hopefully it will look a lot more sort of metally, I guess, by having like nice sharp edges, because you can kind of see where I've sort of put effects and stuff into the gilt. I have made a bit of a mess. Oh, thank you, that's very kind. And are you working on anything today? Like, you know, I love hearing about other people's projects whilst I'm drawing. Like, I had somebody on earlier that's writing their own novella, which I thought was very impressive. Ah, and hi, Charlie. I was just asking XS Carnage 101 if they're working on any projects at the moment, because I had a lovely person on earlier that had written their own novella, which is very exciting, and I like to hear what other people are working on whilst I sup my very English tea. Ooh, over enthusiastically deleting bits then. Yeah, I've braved completely redoing the metalwork on the throne, and it's one of those where I'll only find out once I finish tidying it up. Oh, thank you, Shere Khan. I think it's looking much better. I discovered a magical tool. Oh, a software program. Oh, I have great respect for people that know how to do that sort of thing. In my day job, I do work in technology, but not in the sort of programming element. So I bet that requires a lot of brain power. How about you, Shirkan? Are you working on anything whilst I'm doodling away on this fine Sunday afternoon? It's better. Oh, I don't know if my internet has decided. Having lunch and watching TV. I always forget that people join from all around the world. Blows my tiny little mind. Even though my brother used to live abroad. Even then, when it was a family member who I really should have known, it's still, even then, I'd phone him at like 2 o'clock in the morning his time and have to register that, you know. I have written the plot for the comic. In fact, I've written the first 2 issues of the comic. In fact, I've got page 1. So page 1 is here, and I think I've certainly like storyboarded the first 32 pages. And so by storyboarded, hang on, I'll open the one that I haven't really done yet. Bear with me, caller. So these are all the pages. So this is kind of actually page 33 isn't going to happen now. I don't need page 33, but if I open this by magic, so this is what my storyboards look like. So this is before it kind of turns into this, or oh, let's zoom out, or this. Everything starts out as a scribble. So I write it out a little bit like a movie script. And again, I'm lucky because I'm both writer and artist. I have a lot of freedom, whereas I think most people that work in comic books don't have quite so much freedom. But everything starts out as like a doodle, just for me to kind of map out in my head what camera angles I'm going to use, who's talking, how you can tell who's talking, how you can tell where they are. Like physically, are they outside, are they inside, are they in a particular room? That type of thing. So it kind of goes from this stage to, and bear with me, caller, your call is important to us. It then gets to the sort of more scribbled up stage. So this is kind of the next stage after that, which this needs a lot of work. Like this poor chap has got little baby hands because I haven't actually like properly looked at any references, that kind of thing, to sort of position things. But yeah, I sort of map it out this way. And again, you'll notice that the speech bubbles are dropped in fairly early because I discovered that if I didn't do that, then I would draw loads and loads of detail in places where you're never going to see it because it'll be sat behind a speech bubble, and it starts to drive me a little bit mad. So I decided that even on my storyboards I'd drop in the speech bubbles with the speech that I was expecting to be there, or the little sort of story box things that you have in the corner. I don't know the technical terms for these things, but where you kind of have a 10 years later or what have you. I map those out as part of my storyboarding now, just so that I don't end up drawing silly things where you're never going to see them. So once I've got them up to this stage, I then kind of try and work on the line art to the point where it's sort of almost completely in black and white. And I don't know if I've got one. I think this is one where I've started to add a bit more detail. Yeah, I've started to, but you can still see there's a lot of scribbles going on here. And everything is kind of, my artwork is all just a developed scribble, really. But once I've got it to... Note that sketchbook is, it's how this comic started. So I'm relatively new to digital artwork. In fact, if I go back to this page. So this is actually a... let me pull it back out again. This is the big, where it all began, one could say. So I didn't used to have a graphics tablet. I only had traditional sketch pads. I couldn't afford one. So I started out drawing everything traditionally. So this is, well, it started out with pencil, and then I've got some really flashy, and I don't know if I've got it here, like Pentel brush pens. I don't know if you guys have ever used one of those, but I think they're mostly for manga drawing, but they work brilliantly for like big blocks of black as well, because you can kind of do little detail and then you can kind of push down harder and it fills it in. And I think up to page 20 all of the pages have been drawn traditionally, which is like, I'm really glad I started like that. But the problem with doing it traditionally is if you need to change anything, and it's funny, I went to a museum the other day and I saw some early Batman comics, and you can see where the poor artists have to use whiteout, and in fact, I think there was a recent incident where I can't remember if it was DC or Marvel used whiteout on an artist's work to change eye shapes and stuff, which is a bit, that doesn't sound good. But yeah, if I wanted to make a change to this, I'd need to get my Tipex out or some kind of white acrylic to sort of adjust it, and I wouldn't be able to colour it. Well, I could colour it, and you know, with comic books, your imagination is your only limit, but because I knew how many pages I needed to draw, I didn't feel like I'd have time to colour it. And this paper, I tend to work in watercolours when I'm actually painting stuff traditionally. And this paper doesn't take to watercolour very well. I'd end up with a very soggy sketchbook. So I had like a really cheap XP pen, like £30 tablet that I got from Amazon. And what I was doing is I was taking, this is a daylight lamp, that's why it kind of looks like daylight here, even though here in the UK it is starting to get dark. But I've got this really cool daylight lamp that I invested in that I also use for jewellery making. So when I'm not drawing, I am jewellery making. But this is where I've made it angry and it falls down. Ooh, no, that's not good. There we go, that's better. So yeah, I'll just keep, which has been a bit hit and miss, I will admit. Exactly. So it's kind of what I decided, and I made this decision probably about, Charlie, when did I decide to do this all fully digitally? Well, it helped that I got this graphics tablet for Christmas, so that was when I sort of had decision number one. I've drawn the first 20 pages or so, and let's have a quick look. Yeah, I'd say the first 20 or so pages have all been done in here traditionally, but and then I'd take a fancy, I've got a nice Canon camera that my little brother helped me pick out because he used to do photography, so I'd sort of set up like a little photo booth thing and photograph it, and then I'd put it into Clip Studio, add the speech bubbles, maybe add a little bit of digital shading just to kind of make it pop a bit, and that was it. Bob's your uncle, off we go. And one of those pages, where have I put my little pen, is let's find one that I haven't actually touched yet. So this is an example of, come on, play ball. So this is a page. What you are looking at there is just a photograph of my traditional artwork. I didn't really do any post-production on this particular one. I think I added a bit of a blur effect just to kind of make it look a bit more spooky. But that is just a photo of my art. And I like it, but I really want to make my comic something special, and I really wanted to make it colour. So I have made the decision to, even the ones that are like this, and Blue Peter style, let me show you an example. I'm essentially colouring, here's one that I'm partway through colouring. I'm sort of redoing the line art because I'm sort of tracing it, if you like. So behind all these colours, which I don't know, I don't think I've got too many layers on this one. Let's have a look. I don't know. Maybe this isn't the best example. Oh yeah, so you can sort of see that the colours have just been dumped on top. And yeah, I've had to kind of go over the line work a little bit. Exactly, Charlie. That's what I was aiming for. But yeah, so this is a good example of, this is one of my original traditional ones. And in fact, I'll show you the original. So that's page 2. That's page 4. Which is not that one. Not that one. Yeah, so I think that is the one that I showed you. So you'll sort of see that if I just remove the colour, that I've just added. Oh, it wasn't. Yes, sorry, excess carnage. I need to get my eyes checked. So you can see that these are the two sort of images. And what I've had to do is kind of go over the line work again digitally to then drop the colours behind so that it all looks neat and tidy. But actually it's allowing me to fix a lot of the things that, if it was all staying traditional, I just could not be bothered to do. So I'm seeing it as an opportunity to take my work from purely traditional to a hodgepodge of the two to now purely digital. So the first 20 pages all started life like this, just because I didn't have the tech or this laptop has been a godsend because it can actually run my art programs on it, to one that's fully digital. So this cover that I'm working on now has been completely done digitally, but it does mean that every time I stream and people join me to do my stream, half the time you're watching me draw, the other half is me going, what does this button do? But I'm loving it. I'm loving every minute of it, and I'm loving doing this comic. I've learnt so much, but I am very lucky and very blessed that I have either been gifted or managed to buy the equipment I need to do it digitally. But it has kind of spurred me on to really try and make every page like beautiful, because I want, when this does get published, which I reckon is probably going to be in about a year, I think I need a year to kind of go back over all of these old pages and make them look really spiffy. Because I think they, they deserve to look super spiff. But yeah, the process is a lot quicker. Thank you, Charlie. The process is so much quicker doing it digitally because there's an undo button. I can have a play, and I'm just, it's just a really exciting project for me. So, thank you guys, you're making me blush. But yeah, like, don't worry, I'm partly doing this stream just to kind of get a bit of fanfare around my comic, because I'm obviously an unknown. I've had one comic strip published back when I was younger than I am now, in a horror comic, and it was about a character called Little Gothic Mouse. And it was a bit of a rubbish experience, to be honest. It was with a little independent publisher, and they got someone to ink over my original pencils, and I wasn't very happy with what they'd done. They'd sort of, like, in the original comic strip, Little Gothic Mouse had some cute little slippers and like little things in his bedroom that I'd sort of penciled in, and the inker had just ignored them all. So you didn't see the little slippers next to his bed and stuff like that, and it sort of put me off pursuing this as a career, I think, because it was such a negative experience. And then to top it all off, I had my comic book art portfolio stolen from my car back in 2016, which had all my original comic strips. It had a load of comics that I'd sort of not storyboarded, but I'd put all the sort of the concept artwork all in one folder, and it was my pride and joy. And I happened to pop in to, I think it was some sort of social thing in a little village hall, and I came back out and someone had smashed my car window, and they'd taken, like, I had a coat that I called my Gandalf coat, because it was grey and I looked like a little bit like a Lady Gandalf the Grey. And they'd stolen that, they'd stolen my favourite hat, and they'd stolen my art portfolio. So for a long time, I just thought, nah, I'm not going to do any comic book stuff. It's too sad. It makes me feel sad doing it. But over lockdown, I listened to some cool music that kind of put me in a better frame of mind. And then this whole comic story just sort of fell out of me. It was kind of like, bleh, comic, bleh. And I've got a little notebook, which I think it's, is it that one? No, it's not that one. I've got so many notebooks lying around the house, but I've got a little notebook over there, and I just started writing down some ideas, and then I just sort of wrote down this whole script, and kapla, my comic was born. But yeah, I really hope it does the band and me justice. It's funny, I'm looking at this tambourine, and when I first did it I was like, oh, I've done a really successful metal effect, but now that I've been working on, oh, I've lost it. Where have you gone? Let's close some of these. Getting over enthusiastic. Now that I've been working on this, I'm like, haha, I can now do even better. But I do want to tidy this up and make it look beautiful before I work out how to do this next bit. So, do any of you guys read any, like, comics regularly? Like, super, I'm just trying to think. So Charlie will know that I'm a massive fan of a comic series called Monstrous, which is just, it's beautifully drawn, like exquisite artwork, and the story is really good. And I've just ordered Chivalry, which was drawn by a lady called Colleen Doran, I think is her surname. And she did a lot of, she's done a lot of work with Neil Gaiman, whose work I really like. And in fact, I've just ordered his Death of the Endless series, which if anyone's familiar with Sandman, it's kind of like an offshoot of the same universe. But it's all about this character Death, who is like this young girl who wears an ankh and has like a very telltale like eye makeup, like a little swirl, which sometimes when I'm feeling like ostentatious I will do the same thing. And that's on order at the moment. I can't wait to get it. But this story is called Death, the High Cost of Living. It's so good. But I love hearing other comic recommendations. So if anybody, like, you know, and it doesn't have to be like, I mean, I tend to prefer to read comics as like proper books. In fact, that bookshelf, which I think you can just see, up to there is kind of like art supplies and craft supplies. But everything above that is my comic book collection, which actually I think it's now gone beyond that shelf and has migrated further into the house. Oh, and if you like funny comics, I also highly recommend manga. I've got some manga. I used to read a manga called Tarot Cafe, which I thought was really good, and obviously Chobits, because everybody I think is probably who's sort of enjoyed manga likes Chobits. Do you like shoujo or shonen? I think is it shonen or shonen? Shikan. So shoujo is with the everybody's beautiful, including the boys, and shonen I think it is the like more Dragon Ball Z, kicky punchy type stuff. Chainsaw Man? No. Tell me more, Excess Carnage. It sounds violent just by the name. Oh no, lost it. Where have you gone? Too far. Zoomed in too far. I am going to Google this Chainsaw Man. Let's have a look. And then, right. Chainsaw Man. Ooh. And I'll pull it up on screen. Give me 1 second. Oh wow, he's literally like made of chainsaws. Is this gonna let me? Here we go. Oh no! Oh come on, laptop. Where do you think that my? Oh, you think it's there, do you? Okay. Sorry, everyone. This is where. Ooh. Yeah, I don't know. When you said Chainsaw Man, I was kind of. I don't know. I was expecting him to have like chainsaws, but I wasn't expecting his head to actually be a chainsaw. Oh, but yeah, I like the sort of the sketchiness of that too. That is really cool. Oh, blimey. Oh, it's just beautifully done. Look at that. That's gorgeous. Has it been made into an anime or anything, Excess Carnage? Oh look, Chainsaw Man TV series. I may have to do some more Google foo later. Oh my god, look at that. Wow. That is very cool. Thank you for drawing it to my attention. I will definitely be keeping an eye out for that. But yeah, well, I'll tell you what. Whilst we're sharing, I will. Ooh, where have you gone? Oh, I need to sort out my thing. But if I find death, high cost of living. But yeah, this is Death essentially. This is what she looks like, and I think she's based on a real life rocker that the artist was like thought was just like the perfect role model for. But it's a comic that I have wanted for ages, and it's all about how Death gets to come to Earth as a girl one day, like once a year for a day. And I just remember one of the lines that always stays with me, and that is this: I think somebody's dying, and they're dying like earlier than they wanted to, and they're kind of getting a bit grumpy about how much time they were given on Earth, and she just sort of turns to them and says, you get what everybody gets, a lifetime. And I just sends shivers down my spine when I think about the first time I read that as a teenager. So it's amazing how like comics can be really powerful, I think, just like books. People normally, if you ask people about their favourite book or their favourite comic, there'll be something that's just hooked them in and kind of resonated with them, and I love it so much. But what I don't like is people that kind of poo-poo a particular genre. Like, I know that there can be some snobbery going on in the comic world, like manga or DC, Marvel. I don't like snobbery. I think, different strokes for different folks, as my dad used to say. So, like, if it means something to you and it's good for you, yeah, exactly, Excess Carnage. And I hope that one day my comic will also resonate with somebody. That's all I really want. Obviously money would be nice, and being able to do it full time would be nice. So I do have a Patreon, and I even if you just sign up to like the lowest tier and you only do it for a couple of months, like every penny helps me to kind of get this out there. So I'll just plug that whilst I'm thinking about it. But yeah, that's my end goal is to write and draw something that resonates with somebody. Anybody, even if it's just one person reads it and it's like the best thing they've ever read. That's it. That's the goal has been achieved. Happy Sarah. And I'll do a little happy dance. Oh, like my cat. Look at him. Look at his little paws go. So that's the aim of the game with my comic. But yeah, I love hearing about all comic types. All comics are important. Right, let's see if I can move this around without making a mess. There we go. Tidying this up. There we go, much better. Oh, that's looking much better, I think. What am I listening to? Let's maybe... oh, funny. Let's maybe find something a little bit less folky. I do like a bit of electro swing. Is there any kind of music genre that people are feeling today? I don't mind kind of what I stick on, as it's just little sort of background noise. Oh, I turned it down, Charlie, because earlier, and I don't know if it was my mic, I don't know if it was this, but people couldn't hear me over the top of my music. Thank you very much, Shere Khan, for joining us. Bye-bye for now. Right, I am going to stick on... Let's go for some of this. I don't know what it is, but let's stick that on, and I will up my desktop audio a little bit. There we go. This music probably befits this particular queen, who's quite an aggressive lady. Yeah, I think looking at her facial expression, this is much more her cup of tea. She looks like she likes a bit of industrial music. Oh my goodness, look at how messy that one is. Ugh, no, I can't live without looking like that. No, 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 no. Let's tidy you up. Much better. Ah, thank you, Charlie. Yeah, I ummed and ahed about. They're not quite finished yet. I'm not sure whether to put some line work, but they do kind of. I keep jumping them in front of and behind the magic, and I think they need to live behind the magic. I think it makes more sense. But they were good fun to draw. Obviously not based on our own solar system. That's better. That's looking much better. There we go. Are you guys still okay, able to hear me above my music? Because I've turned the music up ever so slightly. But I don't want it to get to the point where I'm drowned out again. Excellent. Ooh. Thank you, Excess Carnage. Ooh, and I will be running away in about oh no, has my tea gone cold? Have I been yammering away? Oh no, not the tea. Oh yeah. Blech. Blech. Oh, tea sacrilege. I will go and heat that up. I've had lots of fun doing this today. Chatting with you guys. Brightens up the whole experience of doing this. Still not sure whether I should put some line work around this or not. I'm really 50-50 about it. Think, tidy it up. Do some line work. See how I feel. I think that's where I'm leaning to. Oh, and whilst I'm really happy I've managed to do that bit fine, I've got the other side and all around the back of the throne to do. Oh no. It's gonna take forever. But it will look cool. That's what I need to focus on. I quite like doing this bit. So I always think of it as like mowing the lawn. Artistic mowing the lawn. It looks all neat and tidy afterwards. Like, it's a pain to do, but it's worth it for the end result. When I worked in video games, I used to have to clean up art assets, which meant I'd go, because we were working in stock frame animation, the little sprites, sort of sprite animations, I'd have to go in frame by frame and look for like little pixels of the original photograph that kind of made that frame. Sometimes just little tiny flecks, like a pixel, will be like left over from where they've kind of tried to delete the whole photograph. And I always thought of that as like, this is like mowing the lawn exercise. Just going in and kind of trying to find that one pixel and just using the eraser tool to erase it. Oh, I must have spent days doing that. That's when I was like, working in video games, not quite as glamorous as I'd originally pictured, but still very good. Like, don't regret anything. And in fact, the video game that I worked on, I think it's coming to Steam sometime soon. I don't know if I'll appear in the credits because I think a lot of the game has been redone from when I originally did it, because it must have been 10 years ago, nearly 11 years ago I think, that I was working on it. but if ever you are bored, if you Google Clodhoppers, that's the game that it was called Cletus Clay when I was working on it. But certainly from the rumblings I've heard on the grapevine is that it's probably gonna, I think it's in beta at the moment. And when I had a look, some of the things that I originally made in clay are still in the game, which is really exciting. So I hope I do get a credit in it. That would be very cool. But if not, you know, I get it. I've not worked on that game for a very long time, and I think a lot of other people have subsequently put a lot of time and energy into it, so I don't mind. But yeah, but like, you know, when people are playing, I can be like, I did that tractor, I made that tank, I made that barn, and I had to like physically make the clay model, and they all lived in a cupboard, and sadly when the studio was no more, I think they all ended up in the bin. But those photographs, you know, it means they will kind of in a way live forever, so I'm not too sad. There we go, that's looking better. Tidier anyway. Much better. There we go. Let's just zoom out. Yeah, that's looking much better. Still needs I think that leaf doesn't quite work. Bye bye leaf. It was fun knowing you, but you did not meet the criteria for staying on the throne, which is basically having the correct highlighting. This one needs a lot of tidying up. I obviously went a little bit crazy with my pen. Ooh, ooh, save. Ooh. Don't like it when it has a think and I haven't saved for a while. That's only danger, Will Robinson. It's not on this layer. Good to know. That's looking much better. Much better. Ah, thank you very much, Excess Carnage. It has been really lovely to meet you, and yeah, I hope to see you again soon. Actually, that does, looking at the time, I think I will be tuning out for today. 3 hours is kind of my limit. But it's been really wonderful to see you all. Thank you so much, and I'd love it if you join me again. Don't forget, I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook, and if you're feeling very generous, or if you have a little bit of money to spare for less than a price of a cup of coffee, don't forget to have a look at my Patreon, and you can actually help me bring my comic to life. So thank you very much, everybody. Bye bye for now.